Grief is a journey we all walk at some point in life, and losing a mother is one of the most profound losses we can experience. It leaves an empty space in our hearts, a void we can't quite fill with anything else. Today I want to talk to you about finding peace in that grief, drawing on lessons I've learned during my own spiritual journey. When we lose someone as significant as our mother, the pain can feel overwhelming, like a wave that crashes over us again and again. But grief, much like the ocean, comes in waves. And just as each wave rises and falls, so too does the intensity of our sorrow. I remember the first time I encountered grief in the monastery. A young man had just lost his mother. He was consumed by sadness and regret. Regret for not having said everything he wished he had. Regret for not having spent more time with her. As I sat with him in silence, I could feel the weight of his pain. It was so familiar because grief is a universal language. What I told him then, and what I want to share with you now, is that the key to healing isn't to run away from the grief, but to sit with it, to honor it. It's in those moments of stillness that we can begin to understand that love and grief. Many people think the goal is to get over grief, but in my experience, the truth is that you never fully get over it. You learn to live alongside it, you learn to carry it differently. Much like water takes the shape of the container it's in, grief adapts over time. What feels unbearable today may feel different tomorrow, and that is part of the healing. There is a practice we follow in the monastery, a daily meditation on impermanence. We remind ourselves that all things are temporary, including life itself. It's not to be morbid or sad, but rather to cultivate an appreciation for the present moment, for the people. One of the greatest lessons I've learned is that grief has the power to awaken us. Losing someone so dear forces us to reflect on how we live our own lives. What are we doing with the time we have? How do we treat the people we love? Are we living with intention, or are we merely existing? This is a moment to reflect deeply on your priorities. If there are things you wish you had said to your mother, say them now, in your heart, or through a quiet prayer. She is still listening, because love transcends even death. Take this time to cultivate gratitude, not only for your mother's life, but for the lessons her departure is teaching you. The lesson of impermanence, the lesson of love, the lesson of compassion for yourself as you grieve. You see, grief is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your heart is still open, that you are capable of deep love, and that is a gift. As you walk through this journey of grief, remember to be kind to yourself. There will be days when the sadness feels too heavy to carry. On those days, let yourself rest. Let yourself breathe. And remember, grief is not linear. Some days will be harder than others, and that's okay. But in those quiet moments of sorrow, also find space to celebrate your mother's life. Recall her laughter, her warmth, her presence. Remember that in every breath, in every heartbeat, her love lives on through you. And when you're ready, you'll find that grief has softened you in ways you didn't expect. It will have my dear friend, grief is not something to escape. It's something to honor. It's the reflection of the love we were fortunate enough to experience. And though the pain may be deep, so too is the love that remains. In time, you will find peace. And when you do, you will carry your mother's legacy forward with every step you take. May you find solace in knowing that love, once shared, never truly ends. It only changes form.